Welcome to Winter Grace Senior Ministries. I'm Debbie Bergio. We are making this recording as of September 25th, 2020, 6 months into our season of COVID. We know that more than ever that building a strong immune system is incredibly important to our well-being. Today we are joined by Brian Miller, a nutrition supplement expert who is well-versed in this area. Brian, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Great to be here.
So it's COVID time. We're trying to stay well, build healthy immune systems, and we should be doing that all of the time. But you're here to talk about that. But first, tell us about you and how you got to this point in your career with nutrition supplementation.
Well, I have a degree in health science a while back with concentration in health education. I've been in the nutritional supplement industry for close to 30 years now, working with manufacturers and distributors and healthcare providers. I'm also certified in sports nutrition, senior fitness, strength and conditioning, and a few other things along the way. And I'm a member of the Natural Products Association, which is basically the nutritional supplement, natural healthcare industries national association.
Oh, terrific. So you worked with healthcare providers. So what did you focus on when you worked with them?
A lot of it was just the natural management of inflammation, both through diet and natural products, natural medicines, nutraceuticals, and nutritional supplement products.
Okay. So we talk about inflammation. Can you go into that a little bit more about that?
Yeah, inflammation is kind of traditionally viewed as a bad thing, but it's a natural body function. We need inflammation for certain things as far as cleaning up sites of injuries where we have damage to the body, and also to address unwanted invaders into the body. So that would relate more to our immune function and how inflammation functions there. But inflammation is a double-edged sword. If we have too much inflammation, or if we have chronic inflammation, those can create problems and lead to chronic diseases and massive disruptions, such as we're seeing with the COVID situation.
So how is inflammation playing a part in COVID?
Basically, COVID is, it's obviously a virus, but it's problematic in regards to how our body responds to it. So our natural response is going to be an inflammatory response to take care of the virus as an invader. But what we're seeing is due to certain circumstances and certain issues that folks have, we're seeing a massive inflammatory response. You may have heard of the cytokine storm being discussed in press conferences and interviews and discussions with various folks. The cytokine storm is just basically our body responding in a very massive response to the infection, and that has what created problems and made people violently ill and put them in the hospital.
Okay. Also, along with the inflammation. So inflammation is good and bad, but we find out we have a lot of inflammation when we have certain conditions. That ongoing chronic condition of inflammation is more prevalent in a number of really common health conditions that we have in the country. Can you go into that a little bit, please?
Yeah, probably the largest driver of chronic inflammation would be lifestyle choices and dietary induced inflammation. So that's why we're seeing, especially with the COVID situation, the most at-risk population are obviously our older folks, because their immune systems aren't as strong and are compromised for a variety of reasons, but also folks that are obese, that are carrying too much weight, because carrying all that extra weight is a pro-inflammatory situation. All that extra weight creates inflammation unto itself. So coming in contact with the virus basically becomes a tipping point and pushes those folks over the edge into a very massive inflammatory response.
And often that obesity leads to is part of other conditions, or seen with other conditions such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, all of which are the results of, or either lead to inflammation or result from inflammation. And there's a lot of research in which direction that cause and effect actually is, but those all go together.
Mm-hmm, most definitely.
So what do we do? Okay, so we have, well, what can we do to prevent this inflammation, and what can we do to, if we already are inflamed, have this chronic inflammation, what are some things that we can do to help reduce that and bring us back into a better situation?
So we always like to look at the most basic steps that people can take, the most conservative preventative measures you can get involved with. And that basically is to improve your diet and lifestyle. Avoid factors that are going to cause inflammation. So we know there's a whole dietary situation involved with driving inflammation, and those basically revolve around eating sugar and grain products. And if your diet is skewed to those being the majority of your consumption, then you're going to be pro-inflammatory. Whereas if we just take some basic steps and replace those foods or reduce them dramatically and eat more things that are anti-inflammatory, such as healthy lean proteins, vegetables and fruits. It's really as easy as what your grandmother used to tell you. You know, eat your vegetables, eat your meat, and avoid the sugars and flours and the baked goods and processed foods. Also are very pro-inflammatory. Because another factor in our food, dietary intake, is the type of oils that we eat.
Definitely.
So we know oils such as fish oil are very anti-inflammatory, but when we start taking a look at cooking oils, in particular corn oil, other vegetable-based oils, those are very pro-inflammatory. And processed foods contain a ton of those oils.
Absolutely. And what else? Besides, I know diet and nutrition is hugely important, but there are another number of other things we can do too.
Yeah, so as far as our business with the nutritional supplement products, we like to recommend taking care of the basic nutrient deficiencies that occur in most people's diets, just because of what's available to eat with us and how we typically tend to eat. So I always like to recommend, my favorite recommendation is take a good quality multivitamin every day. That way you're getting a little bit of everything that you may be missing in your diet. And they're easy to take. Most of them are one a day these days, and that's just a simple addition to the diet. The three most important nutrients that are probably low or deficient in most people's diets are vitamin D, magnesium, and then the fish oil omega-3 fatty acids. Those are the three places to start if you're going to invest in taking nutritional supplements that have been researched over the years and we know are deficient in an average diet and will benefit you by improving your overall diet with those three. And what we also know about those three is deficiencies in those threes lead to a rise in inflammation. So you can consider taking all three of those an anti-inflammatory strategy.
Excellent, excellent. So your specialty is, like I said, nutritional supplements, but what are some other things that, okay, we do those basics. We take care of our multivitamin, our magnesium, our D3, and our, oh my goodness, fish oil, omega-3s. What else? Suppose we have some inflammation and we are looking for an extra supplementation, extra help there, support.
Yeah, so there are also some great natural anti-inflammatories provided by nature via spices and herbs. our two favorite that we're always recommending for everybody on a daily basis are turmeric and ginger. And these are things you probably have on your spice rack. We recommend, including them in as much food that you eat, or if you want to mix up some tea. I put this stuff in just about everything that I eat. And as far as if you want to include it in the supplemental form, the supplements, which are more along the nutraceutical end of things, are processed a little bit to be a little more concentrated. And sometimes they're in together or in addition to some other helpful things in some formulas. So we recommend these things as far as taking on a daily basis that are natural. They work with your body. They don't have side effects. Some of the other issues with some of the pain medications out there, they can be toxic to the lining of your digestive tract and also your vital organs. And long-term use of those can be problematic. So that's why we like these natural formulas that include turmeric, ginger, and there are a host of other things as well. But those are the two big ones I recommend the folks to try to incorporate into their diet every day.
And they're tasty. I know my daughter has just really started cooking with a lot of ginger and turmeric, and she's just loving it too. Just adds a lot of flavor to your meals.
Yeah, if you haven't discovered the benefit, and certain cuisines have been using these things for centuries, Asian food, Indian foods. And what we also know about those populations over a long period of time is they tend not to suffer from as many chronic diseases as other cultures in the world that don't incorporate a lot of this into their diet.
Okay, so I've decided, I already do take these things that you're talking about, but suppose I'm new and deciding, okay, this sounds great, this is what I'm going to do. What are some guidelines you have for making sure you pick the best ones for you?
Well, I always say be wary of products that are extremely inexpensive because they are typically inexpensive because their raw materials are inexpensive, and the nutritional supplement industry is regulated somewhat, but certainly not like some of our other industries, i.e. the pharmaceutical industry. So there are a lot of products out there that are problematic, and what I mean by that is some are downright fraudulent. There's also labeling tricks that a lot of companies like to use. Having been in the industry for so long, I like to say I've seen a lot of them. I haven't seen all of them. But there's a lot of things that are done as far as listing serving sizes that, if you look at the box, it looks like a great serving of nutrients in there. But if you bypass the fact that how many you have to take to get that box, and then you also want to look at, well, how much are you actually paying for that? So I'm a member of the Natural Products Association. The Natural Products Association does their own certification program. So I like to recommend people to look for the NPA GMP, which stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. Seal of approval on there. And there's some others out there as well. But products that don't have any certification recommendation or ones that you can't find or look up yourself, I would be wary of taking those products.
Sure, and I know a lot of medications and supplements are also have a lot of fillers in them that are not, they can really hurt people as well. People might be responding well to the nutrition supplement, but then there's that filler that they can be sensitive to. So it's important to look for ones without fillers.
Well, binders and fillers, the technical term for that would be excipients. And these are necessary in the manufacturing process to hold the product together and then to give it shelf life. But like the ingredients, those excipients can be of varying quality as well. So you don't want a product that's made with an excipient that's so rigorous that it holds the product together for the next 100 years, but basically makes it undigestible.
Right. You want to make sure it's available where that nutrient is needed is where you want it to be available.
Right. And many products that I've looked over have an extensive list of excipients where, good manufacturers don't need to use all the extra binders and fillers to hold together a product because their manufacturing processes are superior, and the raw materials that they're using are superior as well.
Absolutely. So, okay, I'm convinced. Like I said, I already do these things. But suppose I want to get started on. I'm watching this, and I want to get started on a regimen. Tell us how we go. How do you work with clients and get them started? What do you talk about? And
A lot of these days we're interacting with clients via email, but we're still via phone discussions as well. And when we do see people in person, sometimes we have them bring in what they're taking. But basically, we're just going to ask you, what's your diet look like? We don't spend a lot of time doing diet coaching, but we like to provide the outline as far as this is a diet that's going to be more anti-inflammatory and will help you with health in general, but depending on your situation, we've seen a lot of people turn around their health status just by modifying or changing their diet. And then if you're not taking nutritional supplements, we like to get you squared away let's get started with the things we know that are foundational to managing inflammation and probably low or missing in your diet altogether. And then from there, we just kind of build on. So I work with a lot of actively exercising folks and athletes, and they typically tend to require some more of this and that just because of the rigorous exercise and training that they do. So just a function of looking at where you are, what your lifestyle is, and basically what your health goals are. So if you're suffering from high blood sugar or some things that can be easily corrected with some good diet and supplementation, we'll provide you with all the information and resources to help you get you in that direction.
excellent. So we have all of your contact information. It's going to be below this video on this page. But also, if you're watching this before October 8th, we have great news. You can register to watch be part of a discussion with Brian and Dr. Lynn Shoemake about natural pharmacy, more questions about natural supplementation. And if you're watching this after October 8th, you can also watch the recording. And that information is below also. So Brian, thank you so much for bringing your expertise to us, and just really appreciate you being a part of our event.
Great to be here. And just be well, everybody.
Do our best. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.